Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Vetted with Irving Fryar and Hollis Thomas. I'm Irving Fryar, and that's my dog over there, big dog, Hollis Thomas.
What's happening, man? How you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling okay. You know what?
Oh yeah,
my mother fell the other day.
Hey,
I didn't even. You asked me about that. That's the first place my mind went. My mother fell the other day, and she's 81, 82 years old. Look, Mom, I gotta learn to shut this thing down. And man, that was scary.
Yeah,
that was scary. So we've been taking care of her. She's on her way to recover. She did have to go to the hospital for a minute, but other than that, I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Well, you know, I got this read here about the Bird schedule and PhillySportsTrips.com.
Handle it, big dog.
I am Hollis Thomas of PhillySportsTrips.com, and the Bird schedule is out. So you know what you ought to do. You go and plan one of the away game trips, and you go to PhillySportsTrips.com and go with us. We have the best hotels, and you get to party with me and other Birds fans, and possibly some other legends will be with us. So go check out PhillySportsTrips.com. Tell them Tank sent you, and you heard it on A2D Radio. And also go get yourself a damn Skippy t-shirt. Go to PhillySportsShirts.com. Get yourself a damn Skippy t-shirt so you can be in there like swimwear. You got the gear and you got the trip. A2D Radio, PhillySportsShirts.com. Boom.
Boy.
Shameless plug.
I like that. Listen, what we want to do today, we're going to talk about the offensive lineman. We're going to talk about the defensive lineman for the Eagles, doing something a little bit different. I've been listening to a lot of the sports casts, you know, whether it's radio shows or podcasts, and everybody's talking about Jalen Hurts for whatever reason, and him supposedly going to take, you know, this big leap from last year to this year. And, you know, they're talking about the Phillies, and they're talking about the Sixers still. We want to do something a little bit different today. I have an expert with me. Not only is he my friend, not only is he my former teammate, but he is an expert when it comes to linemen, offensive linemen, defensive linemen. So we're going to talk about the offensive lineman first for the Philadelphia Eagles today. We're going to talk about the defensive lineman in the second part of the show. But let me run across you our agree to disagree. I didn't ask Hollis about this. I threw this up today. Throw it up there, Ralph. Our agree to disagree. So there it is. The Eagles will win the 2024 Super Bowl. Woo, that's a big one.
2023?
2024. They don't win it. They don't play it till 2024.
Oh,
yeah, it's the 2023 season, but they don't play the Super Bowl till 2024.
I agree with that.
Yeah, so the Eagles will win the 2024 Super Bowl. Do you agree or do you disagree? I agree. I threw it up there. I put it up there. Big dog agrees.
I put it out there right off the rip. This is one of the times where you don't always know what's going to happen, but the way I think I've learned over the years that the best way, but it goes into what we're about to talk about. Mm-hmm. The best way to build a team is through the lines, through the trenches, because no matter how many great outside players and skill position players you have, somebody still has to block and somebody still has to stop them and stop the opposing team, because the ebb and flows of the games and the seasons. The one consistent thing must always be the guys up front
in the trenches. Yes. That's right. And for me, the only way it can be a successful season for the Eagles this year, and it's based on what they've done over the last couple of years. You know, they made the playoffs 2 years ago, and they went to the Super Bowl and lost the Super Bowl last year. So the only way it can be a successful season, 2023 going into 2024 Super Bowl, is that the Eagles go to the Super Bowl and win. That's anything less than that
is uncivilized.
Is a bust. Anything less than that. Now, what we don't want is we don't want the Eagles to continue to go to the Super Bowl and lose Super Bowls. We don't want another Buffalo Bills. We don't want another team that's one of the greatest teams to never win a Super Bowl. We don't want that. We
don't want a missing ring.
Yeah, we want victory. So for me, anything less than that for the Eagles this year, this coming season, is a bust. Is a bust. They have a great team, and in many instances, there are hills and mountains and valleys beyond other teams in terms of talent. Now, they do have some tough teams they're going to play this year, and I believe Buffalo is going to be tough this year. They just added another piece to the defense.
Yeah, but they don't have Leslie Frazier Collins anymore.
No, they don't. But
that means a lot.
Yeah, it means a lot. but it's a team we didn't play last year.
Yeah,
you know,
we played them the previous year.
Yeah, right. But they weren't the team
Josh Allen was
3 years ago. Yeah, that they were last year or even this year.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe
we weren't either.
Yeah, we weren't either. You're right. You're right. But I believe it's going to be one of those tough games for us because it's someone that we haven't seen last year or the year before. So
those are always rough. The ones that the teams that you don't have any commonality with,
right?
That you don't play often, and you go up there and either they throttle you or you throttle them. It's like
well, hopefully, if there's any throttling going on, we're doing it. We're at the helm of that. Yes.
Now when you gave me this, I call it an assignment. I went through it now. I was checking out the one thing that I liked about both lines is our starting guys are quality, but the other part that we can get to a little bit later is we have quality depth.
Okay,
and,
right.
You remember Marv Levy? He said depth is great until you have to use it. Well, it's like with our depth, you don't mind using it. You don't want to have to use it, but you don't mind using it because a lot of the guys that we got can be starters on other teams.
Right.
So we can start right off at our center. We got one of the best centers, if not the best center, currently in the NFL. And Jason Kelsey, and he's I've been watching Kelsey since about since when I first started back, and I was always saying he was too small.
Right,
I felt like he was too small at first. But
a lot of people look at him and say that he's too small, or even when I've met him in person for the first time, which was just a couple of years ago, I'm like, that's the center.
Yeah.
And he looks, and he is smaller than everybody else, height and weight wise. But man, he is a mechanic at what he does. He's phenomenal at what he does. He's clever at what he does. He works smarter rather than harder because of the veteran experience that he has under his belt. I think had the Eagles won that, because he played 13 years. Had the Eagles won the Super Bowl last year, he would have retired. But because the Eagles have, as good a chance and a better chance actually this year than they did last year to get to the Super Bowl and win it. That's why he's back, because he wants to win another Super Bowl. Do you think that he's a first ballot Hall of Famer?
It's not many times I say this, but yes.
Really?
You're just given the way he's matured and the way he's dominated his position. It's like when I watched when he quote unquote was getting his ass kicked a little bit early on, and teams used to line up a guy in front of him. Now I think he takes that as a better challenge. Now he hopes they line up somebody in front of him. I don't know, he throws guys at the club now. He gets up to the second level with ease. I mean, and he's won a big game, and he's been to another one, and he's always he's a leader on and off the field. Right. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better centerpiece on the offensive line.
He gets it, man. Yeah. I mean, he understands the game. Like you said, he's a phenomenal leader. Yeah. He has matured over the years. But when I watch him play, particularly at center, when you see a center snap the ball and then pull and get upfield.
I've only seen that 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, and make contact downfield, get his guy downfield and pancake a guy.
Now, see, I've seen it. He's the 4th guy I've seen doing it.
Okay, well, there's not many.
I know.
There's a lot of centers in the history of the NFL.
The first one I saw was Damani Dawson.
Okay.
Damani Dawson, my rookie year, he snapped the ball, and I was like, damn, where'd he go? He was leading the quarterback sweep.
Right. Right.
And then Kevin Mawai. And then you remember Steve Everett?
Steve Everett,
yes. They were the only guys that I've seen that are able to snap the ball and get out there with that type of ease. It's just like it's phenomenal. See,
well, let me ask you this. In regards to that, how much does that? And I know you're a defensive lineman, professional defensive lineman, but I'm sure you understand offense. How much does that give the offensive line maneuverability? How intricate can they be, and what kinds of blocking schemes can they create, because you have a center that can actually snap the ball and pull, because a lot of times the center's not covered.
Right.
A lot of times the center's not covered, so he can.
But even sometimes, even the guys that I mentioned, including him, even if he's covered,
Well, yeah, if he's covered, he's still going to do it. Yeah,
he can still do it, and that's the greatness that you have to recognize. The one thing that it makes the offensive line blocking scheme that much more, let me see, was complicated for the defense, because you have to. There's something, even though they might only do it once or twice, you're gonna practice that crap all week long, and then you're probably not only gonna see it one time, because they have a whole different game plan for you. But that was the beauty of having, like, I always felt like I had some pretty decent coaches throughout my career playing professionally, especially here with the D-line coaches and the defensive coordinators. So you saw the stuff that you needed to see throughout the week,
right?
And so you were not surprised. You couldn't say we didn't even practice that. We didn't practice that. You seen everything, every trick play, every other play. But when you have guys that could do what we're speaking of about snapping and pulling, it puts the whole defensive line on notice. It puts not only does it put the interior guys on notice, it also puts the defensive ends and outside linebackers and the middle linebacker on notice too, because that could be a counterplay too.
Right. So it's almost like you have an extra man,
right,
on the offensive line when you have a center that can pull. And like you said, it's very far and few in between. Most centers don't have the ability to be able to do that, to snap the ball, particularly in a shotgun, snap the ball and
get out there
and get, make that left step and turn to the right, make that right step and get depth a little bit and get around the corner and find your man and make contact and sustain that contact. So Kelsey, I've seen him do that. And actually, and I know we're going to talk about him a little bit later on, maybe not in regards to center, but Cam Jurgens. I saw Cam as Kelsey's backup last year during the preseason.
Right.
I saw Cam doing a lot of that. He has the ability to snap the ball. I don't know if he was doing that before he came
he was
to the Eagles when he was at Nebraska, but I know that he's doing it now. And I saw him do it last, and he's running down the field. He's making contact. So, I mean, he's been prepped. He's been prepared. He's ready to step in whenever Kelsey decides he's going to hang up the cleats. But Kelsey, 6-time Pro Bowler, man, 35 years old. I retired when I was 37, 38 years old.
Me too.
But that's different though. It's different for you all when you're in, you're in the trenches, you're getting banged up, particularly an offensive lineman. They don't come out of the game. Kelsey, he plays every offensive snap.
Well, I tend to crack up when people are like, they play every offensive snap. I was like, yeah. But when the ball is thrown or it goes by them, they're pretty much just standing there.
Well, yeah.
Guess who has to chase?
Oh, yeah.
Guess who has to chase? And if you don't chase.
You better chase.
Yeah. If you don't chase, in the meeting room, in the team meeting room, that Jim Johnson or Emmett Thomas will rewind it time and time and tell me what you turn into a spectator. You can do this from the sideline.
Yep. And I understand that defensive lineman, you're always on the chase. You're always chasing. So when the ball gets downfield, or even if a running back gets by you, you still have to chase him. A lineman, an offensive lineman, makes his initial block. Once the running back gets by him or the ball is thrown, they're done pretty much.
But the really good ones continue downfield to pick up more blocks.
But for the most part, and today's game, they're done.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So I believe, just like you're saying, I mean, he's like, would you say Kelsey's the best center in the league right now?
Who's better than him?
I don't know. That's what I'm asking you. You're listen, we're doing this show like I'm interviewing you, because you're the lineman. You're the expert. I'm not an expert in lineman. You are.
He is the best. Right. Currently, he is the best center right now in the NFL.
And he's a big reason why the offensive line for the Eagles are ranked number 1 right now going into the 2023 season.
Silky.
They're ranked number 1, which is awesome.
He's come a long way too.
Yeah. Come on. So this is what we want everybody to do who's listening right now as well. If you have a question, we kind of want to interact with you today. We have our in-studio assistant ready to write your questions down on a big board. She's going to come hold it in front of us so we can see your questions. We're trying to make this thing a little more interactive with our audience. So if you have a question, please throw up a Q, capital Q, then a semicolon, that's the 2 dots, one over the other, and then ask your question. And if it's a valid question, for me, or it's a valid question for Hollis. No, all of your questions are valid, but and I'm sure we won't get to all of them. I'm not going to promise you we'll get to all of them, but we'll get to some of your questions today. We want to interact. That's why we go live, because we want to interact with our fans today. So we've seen some people log on, Dave and Thomas.
Dave thinks the Florida Panthers are going to win. Is he a troll or something?
Who? What's Dave said? Who?
The Florida Panthers in hockey.
Oh,
in hockey, you know, they got the Florida Panthers are getting throttled right now by the Las Vegas Golden Knights.
As we speak, they're getting throttled. Pete Evans, see you. Frank, I don't know how to say your last name, Frank. I'm not going to chop it up, but Frank, God bless you. Chiquita, see you too. David, I see you. Island Smoothies, that's Vinny.
That's Vinny, yeah.
That's Vinny, yeah. Vinny Capriati. What's going on, Vinny? David, I see you. Okay, all right. Chucks, yeah. Yo, gentlemen, he said. But yeah, if you all have a question, please put a Q, capital Q, semicolon, and ask your question, and we'll get to it. All right. Our in-studio assistant is ready and eager
queuing you up
to assist today. So let's see how this works. Listen, we got to go to a commercial. Take it away, Ralph.
Hey, Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
All right, we're back. Cool. Listen, you started out with Jason Kelsey right there in the middle.
Yeah.
Let's go to the left tackle and work our way back to the right.
Okay.
Jordan Mailata. He is to me, when I see
phenomenon.
Him, yeah, he's a freak. I hate to say this because people say it, yeah, freak of nature.
But you know what? In watching him, I don't know if you remember when we were here. We had a guy on practice squad named Steve Neal. He ended up getting picked up by the New England Patriots.
Really? I don't remember.
And they taught him to be guard. He never played football in high school or college. He was a wrestler. Became an all-pro guard for the New England Patriots.
Really? Wow.
Yes.
I don't remember him.
Yeah, so it would, but he's a little different. He came from playing rugby, so he's a giant athletic guy.
Right. He's still like 6'8". I mean, he's a giant, 6'8", 365 pounds. It's crazy,
Yeah.
and he gets better every year. You know, having played NFL football, his first year in the NFL.
Yeah,
he's just coming out of a rugby.
Yeah.
He's just going to get better and better and better. He does give up sacks. Don't get me wrong. I think the Eagles gave up a total of 44 sacks last year.
Okay,
which is, I guess, somewhere in the middle. I'm not sure exactly where that number is.
It's somewhere in the middle. I mean, sometimes somebody's not gonna get open. They're gonna hit you with a blitz or something. I was like, but I like the way he goes about things, and he's always thirsty for knowledge of. Was talking to my boy Trey Thomas, and Trey helped him out a lot. Trey helps out a lot of the outside linebackers as well, as far as like getting them ready to play oppose the offensive tackles. And Trey's actually a really good coach, man. So,
they need to hire Trey then, because I played with Trey, and Trey's a giant too. He was a big man.
But that's what we were talking about before we came on. I was telling you, these two guys put me in the mindset of Trey and Runyon. When they were coming up,
about Lane Johnson
and
Mailata.
It's like it's been a minute since we had guys on both sides that can handle their business like they handle it. It's been a minute since our offensive line has been kind of like this stellar, and it's like it's mainly the coaching. The coaching has a lot to do with it. I was like Stoutland. He has those guys over there working. So and every guy, if you look at it, every time that somebody's went down, all of us, the public has panicked like nobody's business.
Right, but they didn't miss a beat.
It's like because when you look at and this is off the beaten path a little bit, but it's still on the offensive line. When you look at, we've seen Jack Driscoll play.
Right.
We've seen
he just can't play the right side.
Yeah, no. Brett Tooth and we've seen Sua Patti play. We see all those guys play and come in and give us quality time.
Right.
And that kind of the offense not missing a beat. I was like the one thing that we were talking about earlier about the continuity. It was kind of like the continuity of the offensive line. and it hurt Kelsey one year as well. Is when we first put Musa Amalu, Isaac Seamalu, who's not with us now.
Right.
He's on another team. When they first moved him and put him in the guard, he really didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Right.
And then it was like you could see that Kelsey was trying to. When you like Kelsey's the quarterback, it's two general. It's a general and a lieutenant general on the offense.
Right. The quarterback and the center.
Yes, it's like so. When he has to worry about somebody, he can't get his job done.
Right.
So it was like that was the point where they are number one right now because they've been together for a nice little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the weakest link used to be Seamalu because everybody kept telling me how good he was. I was like, he's getting drove back into Carson Wentz's lap every chance they get. I was like, dude, stop it. It was like, so we don't have anybody like that currently. They just gets their ass kicked on a constant basis.
Right. No, I mean, we got it's a great offensive line. And these guys, again, there's a cohesiveness that has just been developed over time. And anytime there's an injury or there's a drop off or someone has to go out, whether it's get a rest or whatever, we come in and we have someone who's ready, and that's coaching. And that's coaching when you come in and you know what you're doing, and that cohesiveness of that offensive line continues to move forward together. Yeah. And again, I saw that with Cam Jurgens in the short period of time he was there just during preseason last year. He was moving like Kelsey was moving. Yeah. And that's coaching.
Yeah, it's coaching. It's like you have to when they come in, they give you a set of rules and regulations that you are supposed to adapt that to your game. Because they brought you in there for a specific reason.
Well, they brought you in to play within this system,
right,
and to be successful within this system,
right.
And if you can't adapt to it, and I'm sure that they look at whoever it is they're going to draft, or whoever it is they're going to bring in as free agent, whoever they're going to bring as an undrafted free agent. They look at that and what they're capable of doing, and if they can fit into the system that they've created or that they have here at Philadelphia.
Right.
So let me ask you a question.
Okay.
So you're going against Mailata. Yeah. Right. What would you do back in your day to try to get by this guy, or to stop the run, or stop to get back and get a sack on the quarterback? What would you need to do in your terms of your observation of him? What would you do against him?
Against him, I would. You can't really run around him. So you kind of got to get him off balance. Okay. It's a pass rush, and Hugh and Trent, they'll tell you that being a pass rusher, especially on the edge, it's an all-day affair because you're setting him up for that one or two shining moments.
Right.
So you come out with your entire repertoire. Your first one is to run up and get his body turned sideways and knock him past the quarterback. And you come underneath and get him. That's the first thing that I would do. But then once I did that and showed him my speed, I would come at him the same way, but this time I would run him over. I would run up the same way, but then I would run him over. Mm-hmm. But that's just me. I try to run over everybody, so I really don't care.
That's why we call you Tank.
So it's like so. But the other thing too is like once you did that, then you give them the short. You set them on the line real short, and you give them a quick head fake and go inside. It's like because it's like once you get them in those three moves in that succession, you're pretty much going to dominate pretty much anybody. But that's the course I would take with him.
You know what? It's not amazing that you say that, but it's eye-opening for me that you say that as a lineman. I've never really sat and talked to a lineman, defensive lineman or offensive lineman, about strategic moves or strategy during a game, but that's similar to what I would do as a wide receiver. A defensive back who's covering me, who's supposed to be maybe a good defensive back. I would start off the game running by him. I just run by him because I was fast to let him know, to let him feel my speed and my power, just so he knows that I can run by him. Right. Because the biggest fear of a defensive back is a wide receiver getting behind him and catching a touchdown pass. So I would set him up early in the game by just running by him. One of the first 2 or 3 plays, if I wasn't getting the ball, I'm running by him, so he knows I can get by him. Secondly, I go up to him and knock him up underneath his chin. Knock him down. Go up to him and get physical with him.
Give him some chin music?
Yes, give him some chin music.
We call that a rhapsody and a kisser.
Why do I do that? I do that because that keeps him off balance. Right. So when I come off the ball and I come off hard, he doesn't know if I'm coming off to block him or if I'm coming off the ball to run a route.
Yeah. That's it. Well, see, you're pretty much playing defensive line because you want to make all your moves. Now, see, it did get to a point where I was so cavalier, I didn't give a damn if you knew where I was going. Just try to stop me.
Right.
Well, because it was like, okay, so we have stunts that we run, and some are gap exchanges, some are slants. The difference on the gap exchanges, you're taking a flat step and getting up. You still have the gap. You're not trying to wash things down. You're trying to make the corner short, because your linebacker, his coverage may be out there, and his run gap is right here. So he's going to give you his run gap, and he's going to go out there. So if I was a defensive end, I would get a slice or a wing call. As a defensive tackle, you get a nail call. Which
slice, wing, nail, whatever that is.
A spike.
A spike.
It's a gap exchange step. And then, now if you slant this, it's probably a blitz, and then we call those ISOs.
Okay.
When we do ISO stunt, you slant down and you're trying to take everybody with you, because you're trying to make the corner short for the third guy that's coming around. ISO is a 3-man stunt.
Gotcha.
So
gotcha.
And the other part too is like when you said that, I used to set people up just by running them over until they got me on film. And then I would look like I was going to run them over and then hit them with the slap swim.
There you go.
Or the slap rip. Well, if I was charging $100 every time if I did a slap swim, because I'm shorter than the rest of the offensive line, and I should always do a rip. But every time I did a slap swim and I didn't win.
But it worked.
No. But if I didn't win, it was $100. So that was my fine.
So who created that?
Tommy Brazier. He's like, you swim, go swim. You throw that chicken wing up there. Because he's called the chicken wing, because I wasn't swimming. I was going over the top.
Right, because you were shorter than everybody else, and your arms were shorter than everybody else, so you couldn't get over the top. You got to listen. We're not getting very far on this, but that's okay. This is a good show. You got to read, big dog.
Yeah, dude. It's coming up again.
Yes, you're up.
Just like the Birds schedule. As Hollis Thomas here with PhillySportsTrips.com. And the Birds schedule is out, and we create the best tailgates. We go on away trips. Actually, I just heard the lady on the last commercial talk about our bus trips. I'll be on those bus trips as well. Those are awesome. We stay at the best hotels. And you meet legends and stuff on all of this stuff, on all of these trips. Actually, the coolest part about it is the legends on the trips and the fans. So it's a lot of legendary fans too that I meet going around with Philly Sports Trips on PhillySportsTrips.com. Check out the Tampa Bay trip. They're playing golf there. Come on, y'all. We gonna play golf in Tampa Bay, and other things to do as well. And if you want a damn Skippy T-shirt, go to PhillySportsShirts.com and get the damn Skippy T-shirt. There's also other gear on there, as well as Philly Sports gear as well, and bird stuff. Good things, mazel.
Did you? I thought you were going to say mazel tov.
Mazel. Good things.
Mazel. What's up, Brian? How you doing? Good to see you, man. So y'all are playing golf at Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay, yeah. They
have a golf tournament?
Not a tournament, but it's a golf tour. This is one of the trips that they play golf on.
Wow. Are they going to play golf when they go to LA?
I think so. I think they play golf anywhere they can where it's warm. Because on the Arizona trip the previous year, there was a golf thing going, and then they have the Tampa Bay as one of the first trips that they got the golf thing included.
Big dog, we got to get you playing golf, man.
I told you I just ride the golf.
No. I know you ride the cart, but we have to get you playing golf. You don't want to. You don't have an interest in playing golf?
I like the festivities around golf.
No. You're not hearing what I'm saying.
I heard what you said.
I know you heard, but you're ignoring it.
No, I'm not ignoring it. It's like
okay, you're dancing around it then.
I'm not dancing around it. It's phenomenal the way you guys do that, and I don't want to have to concentrate on that like I had to.
So you're answering. So now you're answering answering my question. Yeah. I asked you. You don't have an interest in playing golf? No, you don't have an interest in playing golf because you don't want to have to concentrate.
It's too much concentration.
It is a lot of concentration.
I could critique you. I could critique you guys.
No, you can't critique because you don't play. So you don't.
I could critique a coach.
Well, you know whether somebody hit the ball straight or not.
Well, straight it. There's different angles, and the funniest thing was I did this one golf. I did dogs golf tournament, and I was with the guys
last year.
Yeah, this past year.
This past year.
Yeah, that was. I had to tell the guy. I was like, dude, quit looking up to see where the damn ball is going. Look and see where you want to put the ball. Just keep your head down and follow through. And so he finally listened to me. Man, he hit the crap out of the ball.
See, you know the mechanics.
I know the basic mechanics.
Yeah, you know the mechanics.
Yeah, and I can teach it.
Yeah. Okay, we have Yosis. Yost
22.
Yost 22 from line. Hey, Ralph, throw that up. Yost 22 from lineman stand-up point. What is from a lineman stand-up point? What is the biggest leap that you took from rookie year to year number 2? That's our in-studio assistant. Yes, she is banging. Throw that up there. Thank you, Yost 22. Yeah.
From a lineman standpoint,
I couldn't quite understand Yost 22 in-studio assistant. You got to write that a little bit better. Thank you.
She wrote it pretty cool.
Go ahead, big dog.
Like, so from a lineman standpoint, what was your biggest leap for that? Oh, from year 1 to 2, my biggest leap was my film studying because at a certain point during my second year, pretty much everybody was sitting on my bull. When I say sitting on the bull rush, like they felt like they knew what I was going to do, so they just hunkered down and didn't do anything. Now, if you didn't know as a fan, when you catch an offensive lineman, what we call hunkering down or sitting his ass down, you run right around him because he's flat-footed now and he's setting up for the bull, or he's just sitting there and you just run around him because he can't get back on his toes fast enough.
Okay.
But the one thing that was the film study. The main thing was film study and making more plays. That was my biggest leap from that because I ended up actually that second year I led the team in tackles with
all right, big dog,
98. So.
Yeah, and that and most NFL players make their biggest leap in terms of improvement in between their rookie year and the second year. Most of them do. Chiquita, do you think defense will be better than last year? Throw that up there. Thank you, Ralph. Do you think defense will be better than that? I think so. In my opinion, yes. They're ranked the defense, and we haven't gotten it yet, but they're ranked number 2 right now before the season starts. They're ranked number 2, only behind the Titans. The Titans defensive line, I should say. Titans defensive line is ranked number 1. Right. Our defensive line, the Eagles, are ranked number 2 before the season even starts.
And I think we ranked number 2 mainly because we lost Hargrove.
Right.
And
but we got Carter.
Yeah. It's just going to be his first year. And I know, I don't know about your rookie wall, but playing the defense and offensive line, you're going to hit a rookie wall around week 13 or 14. And it'll be interesting to see how they handle that. But I think the other part about that is I think that the architect, our defense is going to have a lot to do and a lot to say. And I think we're going to be able to disguise coverages and stuff. Now, and everybody thinks when I say blitzes and stuff that I'm not always talking about blitz. I'm talking about send some other people sometimes. Right. Disguise some coverages. Right. The offense should not constantly know what you're in snap after snap. Exactly. It's horrible.
And I think though we lost Hargrave, I think we gained someone even better in Carter.
And younger.
Yeah. And you know what? For me, and we're not even on the defensive line yet, but Carter is someone that can do both. Yeah. I think it's rare that you have a lineman, defensive lineman, that can rush the passer and stop the run.
Look at Fletch. That's how Fletch was early on.
Right. But you got Warren Sapp, you have Aaron Donald who can do both. Yeah. But that's far and few in between. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, big dog. You're a defensive lineman. When you have a defensive lineman that can do both, Carter can do both. He can rush the passer, get sacks, and he can stop the run. Mm-hmm. And Hargrave couldn't do both.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, he would get out his gap sometimes.
Right, he couldn't do.
So he get thrown out. And I think it was kind of mostly because Hargrave was kind of playing out of. He played like end in a 3-4 and tackle in a 3-4 and nose guard. So it's like me playing nose guard in a 3-4 coming out of college, and then making myself into a defensive tackle. Mm-hmm. It was a little bit difficult. That's what my leaps and bounds for that second year was, because my rookie year, I just came from playing nose guard all the time, dude. I was like, so I was two-gapping people and just throwing them around and destroying them. So. Right.
Jake says, throw Jake up there. Who do you think will be the starting right guard?
Currently penciled in is Cam.
I'm going to say Cam Jurgens. And people, for some reason, people say he's not big enough.
He's not big enough.
He's still capable.
No.
So who's going to be?
There's going to be Tyler Steen.
You think the rookie,
the big
the
dog,
draft,
the big dog?
Okay, all right. I mean, he's going.
Okay.
They're competing for that job.
Okay,
they're competing for that job.
And they let Cam go first because Cam has been in the offense
Right,
already.
right.
And he's been learning both already.
Right.
But when the dust settles and you're gonna need somebody in there with some rocks in their pocket.
So you're saying simply because Steen is bigger, that he is more massive,
stronger, it's bigger, stronger, and probably will move the crowd more than Cam.
So
Cam
because
will.
of that,
Cam will be the liability that Isaac Seumalo was. Isaac Seumalo's last season here, which was a contract year, he balled out of control. That was
right.
I didn't even have to call his name that year.
At all.
It was like I was like, wow, he's doing good.
Well, that's why he's somewhere else now.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's like that. It was like, but I was pissed off because he waited till the last year when money was on the line to start trying to make it happen.
Well, a lot of players do that, don't they? Yeah, they wait till the contract year and they ball out. Miles Sanders, well, he balled out. He was balling like that, but he just wasn't staying healthy. He was running the ball. He's productive, but he couldn't stay healthy. But he stayed healthy this past year, so he can get that big contract. Yeah, Miles Sanders. That's another one. But so let's talk about Landon Dickerson. We haven't talked about Landon. Let's move in from the tackle. Let's move into the left guard.
The interior.
Landon Dickerson. You call my son, who is London, you call him Landon because you get confused with Landon Dickerson. Now Landon's still young.
Yeah.
And he's made some improvements.
A lot of injuries, though.
Yeah, a lot of injuries, but he's made improvements over the last couple of years.
He's a beast, dude.
He is a beast. Yes.
And you hate when you see a guy of his stature and that sells out the way he does. See, sometimes you'll see a guy who's got immense talent, but they soft as cotton.
Right. No, Landon's not. Nobody on our offensive line is soft.
No, it's like it's Landon. He goes all out. So you kind of see why sometimes he gets hurt on some type of accident or something. But it's like when he's there, you can count on him. But it's like sometimes he's like just out the blue, he'll hurt himself or get hurt.
I don't understand that. He's a black belt in karate.
Is he?
Yeah, he got a black belt in the shortest period of time of anybody in his dojo.
Wow.
I think it was 11 years it took him to get the black belt. But he's a black belt in karate, so you would think that he would be a little more, not necessarily under control, but get hurt a little less.
He bruised on the inside because
bruised on the inside, not on the outside. But no, he is a beast. I mean, but everybody, when you look at everybody on the offensive line, and that's why we're touted, and I say we, but the Eagles are touted as the number one offensive line in the league right now before the season even starts. I know it's based on what they've done last year and probably the year before. But man, he's another pillar over there on the left side of the line next to Mailata.
But you see, that's why I've seen Apata say he's a backup left guard. I've seen him. You've seen him a lot. So because of that reason, because Landon, the way Landon plays with reckless abandonment, which you love, but sometimes he gets hurt.
Right. Well,
more often than not. So,
well, I think he's still young.
Yeah.
And you know this as well as I know this because I did the same thing my rookie and not necessarily my second year, but my rookie year I came in. I was a wingback coming into the league. I was drafted as a wide receiver.
Right.
I had never played wide receiver before. I was in a 3-point stance most of the time blocking. My one-on-ones during practice weren't running routes against defensive backs. My one-on-ones during practice were blocking linebackers and defensive ends from a 3-point stance. Those were my one-on-ones in practice. So when I got to the pros, I had to figure out how to be a receiver. And, I went into the league thinking I was going to be blocking linebackers and knocking people down like I was in college. And I got messed around and got hurt like 2 times my rookie year until I figured it out. Like, guy, you got to change this up. You can't be running in there with the linebackers and throwing your body. No, that's what I was doing my rookie year. And I dislocated my shoulder. I broke my ribs, man. I was all banged up my rookie year because I was throwing my body around like I was when I was in college. But I had to realize and come to grips with the fact I'm a wide receiver. That's not what a wide receiver does. You mix it up if you have to, but if you don't have to, you stay out there with those guys that are your size. I would always go head hunting and end up in trouble. So just saying that, I'm saying this, Landon is learning. I think this year, the years to come, he's learned from his not mistakes, but learn how to stay healthier and play smarter. Not work harder, but work smarter.
I got to take a whiz.
You got to do what? You got to do what?
I had to take a whiz.
You got to go to the bathroom?
Yeah. Anytime for a commercial?
You got the next commercial. You got to read.
No, I already read.
Oh, no, you got another one. You have a second read. Yeah.
No, I already had my second.
You read the second one?
Yeah, it's the other commercial.
Okay. It's time.
Pee.
No. Hollis paper read commercial 3. That's what he said. Did you read the second one? Okay. All right. You read it. Okay. Hey, Ralph, is it time to go to commercial? Don't knock over nothing, anything. You know, Big Hollis is in the studio, right? It's like in the studio, small. Studio's in my house here. And and hey, use the bathroom downstairs, Hollis. That handle's broken. Anyway, my wife is laughing now. Listen, hey, Ralph, give me the whole. Can you give me the screen, Ralph? Thank you, Ralph. There you go. Thank you. So Hollis is in the studio, right? And the studio that we're operating from right now. Can y'all be quiet? I'm trying to do a show here. My gosh. So in the studio, it's just a room, and it's small, and he's like a bull in a China store trying to navigate around the studio. I'm in fear that one day he's going to break something in here. I'm going to have to replace it, like a mic or a stand or a light or something like that, because he's always bumping into something. He's just big. No video ad coming up now. Okay, we're gonna here he's coming out of the bathroom. Go ahead, Ralph.
Hey, Birds fans, the NFL schedule has arrived and Philly Sports Trips has all the details now. Visit the site phillysportstrips.com. This is sure to be an epic season. Be sure to go there now to make sure that you don't get shut out. Join us in Tampa, LA, Seattle, or when we get revenge in Kansas City. Don't want to fly? No problem. Gather up your crew and hop aboard one of our signature boisterous bus trips to DC or New York. Sign up now and make sure to mention A2D. Don't miss out on the best Philly fan experience anywhere. Philly Sports Trip customers always stay at the best hotels and meet NFL legends. Book today.
I'm back.
So now that you all know the handle's broken on my toilet in the bathroom upstairs.
I was initially when you told me that's what you did.
And you got to use the bathroom downstairs, man, until I fix the handle in the toilet.
How the hell are you gonna fix that?
I'm gonna get a new handle. Just put a new handle on it.
The
little washer inside stripped. So I gotta.
Okay, for the people that are with us,
everybody's with us.
I know. So you're saying you need to put a new handle on them,
right?
He took the whole rod is
right
inside, folks.
But the rod, but I got to put a whole nother handle rod on it. Yes.
Well, no. Sometimes when you say you have to put another handle on, you just have to put one up.
No.
He has to go to the inner parts. I was like, man,
that's because I took the inner parts out.
You didn't hear me scream. How the hell you do that?
I took the inner parts of the handle out. The handle and the rod that connects to the chain. That when you push the handle down, it lifts the chain up and it lifts the stopper up, and the water. Y'all know how toilet works. It's amazing. You know what? As modern and as complicated or intricate as modern technology has gotten, toilets still work the same.
Pretty much.
Gravity, water, period. They still work the same. That hasn't changed. I mean, they have some assisted flush toilets. Why are we talking about toilets?
I don't know. We can talk a little bit. See, I wanted to get into the part about the thing that galvanizes our offensive line.
All right, go ahead, and then we're going to talk about the last part of the offensive line that we have. Well,
that's what I had, because everybody did just ask me about the right guard.
Let's talk about Lane Johnson first. Let's talk about Lane Johnson first.
Okay.
Then we'll talk about the missing piece, right guard, and who that you think is going to be the rookie. Right. I think it's going to start out being Cam Jurgens. I just do. You think it's going to be Steen, but I think Jurgens and Steen.
That was a steal at third round, dude.
No, it was a steal, but understand this: Cam's been in the offense for a year already. Cam has played in the offense preseason, a little bit during the season when we had a couple of blowouts, so he understands what's going on. So he has a head start on Steen. I understand he played the center, but he still played on the offensive line, and it's a whole scheme in its entirety. So he understands a little bit better than Steen.
Still don't put rocks in your pocket.
I know, but I really do think that Cam may start out. Steen may come along as a season.
Look out, Jay Lee coming again. Town.
Lane Johnson, The
Lane
Rock.
Johnson,
Lane
The Rock,
Johnson.
yes.
Lane Johnson
Yeah, that's good.
is a real man.
Mhm.
That cat right there is he gave up no sacks last year, no pressures last year. Who does that?
Do you know what? And I know
Who
everybody.
does that?
I know everybody that's a Bears fan loved when he was kicking the Dallas Cowboys ass the way he did, the way he was just manhandling.
And he played hurt last year.
Yeah.
What was that, a sports hernia that he had?
Yeah. And it's on the
That ain't no joke.
was it a sports hernia or was it the groin? Because I strained my groin in the when he's playing the now Commanders or the Redskins, and you can't when you try to stop and change directions. It's like
it doesn't matter if it was a groin or a sports hernia. Either one of those, you're hindered.
Yeah,
and it's painful when you're playing, particularly football.
Yeah, especially having to get in and out of your stance and make the moves that he had to make. Because I don't think they changed the offense one bit with what he did. Because I think he just had surgery after the season or something.
Yeah, he had surgery. Yeah, 11 years in the NFL. He is 33 years old, so he is, he's right behind Kelsey.
Yeah.
But man, I mean, you have a season like that where you give up no sacks and no pressures. Come on, that's absolutely ridiculous. That nobody defeated him.
You remember Toolbox?
Yes, Toolbox. Yep.
Yeah, Ed West.
Yep.
He said you let them take you out there kicking and screaming.
well, yeah.
It's like no, because the one thing that I have learned about the game is like you want them to take you out kicking and screaming because there's no coming back. It's like, well, I won't say that because you did come back. The comeback kid over here.
But you know what? When I left, I really
did they force you?
That's amazing that you say that. I think you're a very observant person. I don't know if you were watching me or paying attention to what was going on.
Your heart wasn't in it.
My heart was in it.
No, your heart wasn't in it walking away.
No, my heart wasn't in walking away. Not at all.
That's what I saw. It's like you took the bike and you looked like you wanted to ride home and tell everybody to go.
Well,
go fornicate yourself.
Here's what happened.
Okay.
And you all, I think I've said this before, but you're going to hear this for the first time.
And hold on before you tell the story.
All right.
Make sure this is for all those who want to know what happened to the bike.
Yep.
Go.
Yeah. Because there's a lot right here on A2D radio. Because a lot of people ask me, well, what happened to the motorcycle? Y'all, first of all, let me say this. I gave the motorcycle back. And I didn't give it back necessarily to the Eagles. I called Mr. Laurel and told him that, the Redskins had offered me a contract and I was going to go play with the Redskins. And I wanted to give the bike back. He wouldn't take it back. So what I did was I sold the bike. It was a Harley Davidson. I sold the bike and gave the money to the Eagles youth charity.
Okay.
So I was cool with that. I was clean with that. But my last year with the Eagles, my third year, I had a 4-year contract and my plan was to play the 4th year out and then retire.
Right.
But my third year really started off bad. John Gruden was gone. They brought in Dana Bible. We were really messed up as an offense. And the second game of the season, I broke the sesamoid bone under my big toe. I don't know if you know what that is, but it's the bone right there that connects to your foot, right there where the cleat is on your shoes.
This is where me and you became brothers. I don't know if you know that.
No, really?
Yeah, because I watched you get numbed up, and when they took that needle and put it right in the top of your toe, I was like, I was sitting there bitching because they was putting one of the same kind of needles in my ankle, and you were taking it. I was like,
well, I did that. I did that from the second week on. I was very hindered, but I didn't say anything to anybody because I was an older guy. And when you're older in the NFL, they're more likely to cut you, put you out the pasture, that kind of thing. So I didn't say anything to anybody. So I played the whole season with a broken big toe. Yep. Imagine that. Broken big toe.
Getting shot up. Now remind you,
getting shot up.
This is your toe.
Yeah.
This is the needle going into the top of your toe, into the top. I walked in on that and I still have nightmares to this day about that.
And I did that every week. From the second season, from the second game on.
But I never told you. You gave me courage because that was the first time getting my ankle shot up.
Okay, I gave you courage.
Yeah, because I think the previous year I got my rib shot up and I had to go warm up for them to find the spot because he turned around with the needle. They was like, "Where's it hurt?" I was like, "I don't know."
Let me say this about getting that needle in my toe.
Mm-hmm.
I learned the hard way that there's a fine line between being tough and being stupid. All right. And there were a lot of times when I was playing in the NFL where I thought that I was being tough, but I was just being stupid.
Yeah.
Just being stupid because Deion Sanders had the same injury I had the same time I got it, and he missed the rest of the season. And my stupid behind, because I was raised in football a certain kind of way. If you don't play while you're hurt, you're disappointing your family, you're disappointing your teammates, you're letting yourself down. You ain't tough. You ain't a real football player if you don't play hurt. That's how I was raised. That was my mindset, and that's why I continued to play.
You still got all your toes, right?
Yeah, I still got all my toes.
Deion had to have his cut out.
I went and actually had the toe fixed because I didn't. They misdiagnosed me.
Wow.
They told me that I had turf toe.
Story of my life.
Yeah, they told me I had turf toe, and so that's why I continued to get the shots during the season. When the season was done, I went and was a part of the movie Any Given Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to run routes, and I did get in the movie. But I was trying to run routes. They were going to lengthen my part, but I couldn't keep going. So I went and had surgery on my toe and found out at that point that I had the broken bone. Yeah, that the bone was broken. So about 3/4 of the way through that season where I broke my toe, and I wasn't playing well. The team wasn't playing well. We were horrible. Matter of fact, the first time in my career, I started trying to make adjustments, and my game was like, I was being affected by what everything else was going on around me. The quarterback. So I was trying too hard, making mistakes. But anyway, about 3/4 of the way through the season, Tom Modrak called me into his office. And Modrak said to me, he said, listen, you're just not the same guy. You're not, but they didn't know my toe was broken. You're not the same guy. You're not playing the same. We're going to cut you at the end of the season. You can retire if you want, and we'll have a celebration for you. But if not, we're going to cut you at the end of the season.
Wow.
So I went home, talked to the woman that was my wife at the time, and we decided to go ahead and retire. So they gave me the bike, so on and so forth. But I wasn't ready to retire. I wanted to at least play another year, and I had another few years left in me. So I prayed about it, and I said to the Lord, okay, God, if a team offers me this, this, and this, then I know that's you, and you want me to go and continue to play. And that's what happened. Washington was the first team to call me, and they offered me exactly what was in that prayer, and I went and played. But yeah, I wasn't ready to retire. I didn't want to retire. It was a bad year for me, and going down to Washington actually helped to get that bad taste out of my mouth. About
the previous year,
about being forced to retire by Tom Modrak. But it was a bad year, man, because I mean, just pain all the time. It was painful all the time. There was not a time that year that I wasn't in pain, because every time I put my foot on the ground, man, it was just pain.
Well, the people watched that year too, orchestrated by Dana Bible.
Well, Dana Bible got fired, not fired, literally fired. People didn't know. He got demoted from the offensive coordinator about halfway through, because we come in on a Monday or Wednesday morning. They put Musgrave in. Yeah, so watch, Musgrave was like the quarterback coach or something like that. So about halfway through, Dana Bible, he goes and he's spotting the ball in practices, but he's not calling the plays. Right. So we come in on a Wednesday, and Musgrave, to put the plays in, Musgrave's ahead of the offense in front of the offensive room, and he starts to try to do the installation of plays for that particular week. And he's fumbling and stumbling and stuttering. So he has to ask everybody. He stops and asks everybody, listen, please forgive me. I've never done this before. This is my first time doing this. And I knew to myself right then, we just went from bad to worse.
The Musgraves is pretty decent, though.
Well, he turned out to be good, but at that moment, he wasn't. That was the first time he did it. And what he did at that time, in terms of play calling, in terms of installation, it was definitely better than Dana Bible.
Yeah, Dana Bible was predictable. You can find that in idiots who play football. Sandlot 2000.
Pro Fan Talk says they should call turf toe something else. They don't take it seriously enough. Well, yeah, Pro Fan, I think that's Marcus. Listen,
Marcus.
They misdiagnosed me. They told me I had turf toe, but they never sent me to get x-rays or to get an MRI to find out if there was anything else going on. So I played with that broken bone. It was ridiculous, man. Yeah. I was really stupid. And I took it on the chin from some of the fans too. I mean, I can remember I was doing a radio show with Howard Eskin.
Oh God.
No, Howard was the dude back then.
Know, but Howard I've always been cool with Howard. Yeah. It's just his on-air persona that I think everybody get.
Well, yeah, I don't know when they started calling him the king. I don't know about the king and all that kind of stuff.
Burger King. Burger King.
But yeah, Burger King.
That's why
King,
they call him the King. The Burger King.
King Fufu.
No, you ever seen the Burger King guy?
Yeah, I seen the Burger.
That's what he looks like.
Like with the beard and all.
Yeah, that's what he looks like.
So we're doing a show, right? And this guy set me up really good. The fans, for the most part, because my first 2 years with the Eagles, I had really good seasons, Pro Bowl seasons. So the fans were really nice towards me. And then that last year, we all sucked. So, I mean, I did okay, but we still sucked. Nothing like what I did the 2 prior years. So we're doing the show, and there's some fans that were calling in. This one guy calls in, and he's talking. He says, Irving Fryar, you're really good. You're really good dude. You're doing stuff in the community. Really appreciate you, but you suck.
Oh, God.
Listen, I remember that really, it bothered me too. That really messed me up for a little while. That messed me up for a little while. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm these people think I'm terrible.
That's why.
And I thought about letting the press know that my toe was jacked up, but I didn't. I never let anybody know. I never let anybody know.
Yeah, but I knew because I was like,
well, you were there. You saw it. Yeah, you saw it.
I told you gave me courage to get my leg shot, my ankle shot.
I'm sorry. That's not. Listen to me. That's not why I did what I did.
Well, no, it was you didn't know that I was watching because they was like, we're gonna do it in here. They had us in the damn equipment room. not even the training room. Not the sanitary training room.
Wow.
On the top of my leg my ankle was propped up on some bags. Some football bags that had shoulder
Why
pads.
Why did they take you into the equipment room?
Because everybody else. I remember I was young, so it was like all the older guys were,
We got preferential treatment.
Yeah.
We get shot up in the training room.
Well, no, they were trying to get it done because it was coming close to time to go out, so they were trying to get it done, and the training room was like jam packed with everybody trying to get taped and this and that.
Wow. So okay, let's get back on track. We got a couple of minutes left in the show. Who do you predict is going to be the starting at the start of the season, not preseason, because they're going to be experimenting.
Right.
Guys are going to get play time.
Right.
Who do you predict will be the starting right guard when it comes to the first game of the season? Yes.
I think Tyler Steen will be able to get, because you're gonna see it early on in training camp and stuff.
Okay.
You're gonna see what you're gonna see.
Is he going to jump out? Is he just going to be that much better or that much more of a force than Cam Jurgens?
It's because it's night and day to go from guard to center. If you start at guard and then went to center, it's different. Mm-hmm. I think we might have to get my boy Jamal Jackson on here but Jamal Jackson is different though. Jamal Jackson was already big. Jamal Jackson like 6'7".
Okay, what about Driscoll?
Jake.
What about Driscoll? Because it said that he can only play left guard.
Well, they have him playing right tackle and left guard. So
right, but he said he can only play left guard. That's what at least he said, that he can only play left guard. Can't play the right guard.
But he can play right. He can play right tackle though.
Okay, but we need depth. We need a right guard. We don't need a right tackle.
And that's where Tyler comes in.
So Driscoll is out of the question.
Yeah, I don't think Driscoll. They're going to keep him to back up Lane and stuff.
Uh-huh.
And I think you bring the kid Tyler, because I think he's going to be able to grasp the offense. He comes from Alabama. He comes from some good offensive linemen,
mm-hmm.
and I think he's pretty much handpicked by Stoutland. So
mm-hmm.
when you look at his size and his ability, because they kept commenting on his short arms.
Right.
But that doesn't mean anything on the interior, though. So when you're on the interior like that, because he played offensive tackle and he played guard. So
okay.
But the one thing I think he has is the size. So
he's a big boy, yeah.
So once he because you put Cam over there, and then we're at a bit of a disadvantage when you go against some of the bigger defensive lines,
mm-hmm.
and they're gonna make sport of them. You know what make sport of them mean, don't you?
Well, yeah, kind of, yeah.
Make sport of them.
Yeah,
you know, it's a little bit like bullying.
Yeah, no, it's a little bit different than bullying.
Yeah,
I know what sport is. Yeah,
because
I was going to use some verbiage that is inappropriate, so I'm not going to do that. but it's not a pretty scene.
No, it's not going to be pretty.
Yeah,
and it's going to get ugly.
Yeah,
you don't know.
Yeah. So you heard it right here on A2D Radio on the Vetted Show that Tyler Steen will be the starting right guard at the beginning of the season against the New England Patriots up in New England. You heard it right here from Big Dog Hollis Thomas on A2D Radio on Vetted. Yep.
Good things, Mazel.
What are you drinking, man?
I'm drinking some of the finest of tequila.
Y'all, we're out. We're out of time. Thanks for being with us today. We'll take one more question. You guys got one more question? We have one more question. I see some cues up there. Okay. We have any questions? Hey, in studio assistant, we got any more questions? We'll address one more question before we go, before we sign off. It's a great show today.
I think she got all those.
Oh, how different would your approaches to each of your games be in today's game compared to back when you played? The game itself has changed so much, so it's interesting to hear what you do different. That's Chuck's. Chuck's. We got one from Chuck's. Thanks, Chuck's. I appreciate that.
I like that.
You know what, Chuck's? I don't think I would do anything different in terms of what I said earlier and how I approach the game with running down the field, making sure a guy knows that I can run by him, with hitting a guy under the chin. So that kind of sets me up for a pass route. So when I come off the ball real hard, because I want to come off the ball real hard every time. I don't want to come off the ball hard when it's just a passing play. I want to come off the ball hard when it's a running play. So he doesn't know the difference in the first 5-6 yards of what I'm doing. So he has to make an adjustment. He has to try to guess whether I'm coming to block him or whether I'm running a route. So I wouldn't change that. The only other thing that I couldn't do,
I don't think you would change anything.
I can't do crackbacks. I used to do crackbacks.
Well, yeah, you can't crackback anymore. No,
I used to do crackbacks, right, and I used to do peelbacks. And what I mean by a peelback, crackback is when I come from outside inside to hit a linebacker or a defensive lineman. Yeah, blindside them from the line or a linebacker. Peelbacks, I would tell wide receivers, if you catch the ball, when you catch the ball, run my way. Whoever's chasing you, I'm taking the head off. That's a peel back. And I would do those often as well. So you can't do those things anymore. You can't do them anymore because it's illegal now. They made them illegal. But again, I don't like that because that's intimidating. Yeah. And intimidation is a part of the game, but they're taking some of the ability to be able to intimidate your opponent.
Right.
They're taking that out of the game. Yeah. So I don't like that aspect of the rules that have been changed, because now there's some things that I cannot do that I used to be able to do to intimidate my opponent.
I would hug the quarterback and slowly lay him to the ground. That's what
you can't even hit the quarterback, not in the pocket anymore.
Well, no, you can't. That's why I said I would hug him and slowly lay him to the ground.
That's
and hope not to get fined.
That's ridiculous. Yeah.
But it's like the one thing that I think I know I would do is it's like they throw a lot more screens and stuff now. They don't run as much. Only the teams that win run as much. So I would probably try to be on a winning team. The run is easy to dissect. I probably would destroy most of the ones now. Well, the only reason I say that is because when you run a zone, to kill a zone, you just get penetration. And the way that some of these guys block nowadays with the pad level and stuff, God, I would destroy some of these guys. It would be no fair whatsoever. But I think it was pretty much like playing. It would be like playing college. So I would have a lot of tackles for loss,
and I would catch a lot more balls. And we're not too disgruntled old former football players either. No, we're giving you the truth. It's the truth.
It's just what I see. I like what they're doing. And it's like, but it's still nothing is going to change when the dust settles. You have to be able to run the ball and stop the run.
Right.
It's like everybody thinks it is a passing league, but
you can't pass the ball if you don't pass protect.
Yeah, and then not only that, when you have a lead and you throw a pass and it's dropped, the clock stops.
Right. So you have to run the ball.
You have to be able to run the ball to keep the clock moving and to keep your defense fresh. So
Listen, we're done for the day.
It's been real.
Yeah, another episode of Vetted with Irving Fryar and Hollis Thomas. I'm Irving. That's Hollis.
Yes.
You heard it here on A2D Radio. We'll be back next week, same time, same place, same purpose, same kind of message. Eagles oriented. Yeah, we're gonna go birds all the time. We may talk about something else, but it's a birds centered podcast. Y'all, we'll see you next week. God bless you. Stay safe.